Do you ever find yourself nervous or full of butterflies and anxiety when you need to give that big presentation in your life? Well, if you do, then this video is for you. Hey YouTube, welcome to episode 5 of I Will Teach You to Speak with me, Jonathan Andrews. In this video series, we cover how you can become an effective communicator in all the high stakes scenarios of your life, whether that's that family reunion, that next big job interview, and of course, front and center on stage in front of hundreds or even thousands of people. In today's video, we push past mindset and we cover the tactics that beginner and intermediate speakers can use to crush their next performance. After all, the unprepared speaker has every right to be afraid. And my goal for you today is that I give you 3 actionable takeaways that you can use right now to ensure high performance. The 3 tips are, number 1, the 24-hour rule. Number 2, the video rule. And number 3, the real life rule. We'll start with number 1, the 24-hour rule. I use the 24-hour rule as a measuring stick for how prepared I am to give a presentation. I'll give you an example because that's the best way to describe it. If I have to give my presentation Tuesday night at 8 p.m., then by Monday night at 8 p.m. at the latest, I should be prepared to give that presentation as if it's Monday night. And there's a lot of reasons to do this. But the most important is that as soon as you start to use the night before or the day of your presentation as your main hours of practice, you've already lost. As a speaker and a communicator, our greatest asset is our subconscious mind. And 24 hours or less is just not enough time to let the speech seep into our subconscious so it becomes automatic. Let me ask you this. When you're truly mesmerized by a presentation, why is that? I ask that question all the time to people, and the most common feedback that I get is either A, it seems like really authentic, or B, it's like they came up with it on the spot. And that's what I want for you. That's the feeling that I want you to be giving to your audience. Let me tell you this, if you're not giving yourself at least 24 hours, then 2 things could happen. A, you'll be underprepared and therefore stumbling on all your words. Or B, you'll be just prepared enough that you'll sound robotic, as if you're reading from a script. That's not what I want for you. That is not how you influence and persuade people. That is how you embarrass yourself. And I have seen so many well-intentioned speakers go up on stage unprepared and they embarrass themselves. And again, I don't want that for you. What I want for you is to make sure that you give yourself at least 24 hours so that it has time to seep into your subconscious, and when it's time to perform, you're ready to execute at the highest levels. Number 2, we're gonna move on to the video rule. And this is one of my favorite rules, and the reason is because it replaces really bad advice that I hear given all the time in the public speaking space. And that's, if you want to do a great job in your presentation, all you need to do is watch yourself speaking in a mirror. And candidly, I think that advice is bullshit. Speaking in front of a mirror is not an accurate representation of what you're going to look like when you're on stage. It just isn't. So what I encourage my clients and those that I mentor to do in speaking instead is to use the video rule, which just means clear the space that you would use for your presentation, make sure that space and your entire body is in the frame, and then give your speech as if you were to give it in your real presentation. And it's so simple because what you can do now is you can review that speech, find out where you need to make any micro adjustments, and then you can improve. I remember back to November of 2017, I was giving one of the most important speeches of my entire life. It was at the Speaker Slam Grand Slam. And when I was doing my regular presentation preparation, I filmed myself and I found that my first couple of takes were maybe a 6 or a 7 in delivery. I found out that through my enthusiasm and passion, I was doing all these like mini micro bounces and they were really distracting. And my hand gestures and gesticulation were so well planned out that they were looking contrived. I took the video, I reviewed it, found those need for improvement, and I made the adjustments. And I found that I took myself from a 6 or a 7 to a 9 or a 10, and what I believe today to still be one of the best examples of body language and gesticulation that I've ever given. It's that simple. Film yourself, review it, make those micro adjustments, and you will only make yourself better. The third and the final tip for today is the real life rule, and it's so simple. That's why I love it. If you use this rule, you will separate yourself from 90% of the communicators out there. And that just means that you should give your pitch to your dog. You should practice your job interview with your buddy. You need to give your presentation before you give your presentation. Because as much as I rehearse on my own, as much as I film myself practicing my speech, there is nothing that is going to mimic the anxiety and the feelings that come with presenting in front of people. If you could get yourself in real life to practice your presentation with those people before you go up on stage in front of hundreds or thousands of people, you will find that you will be prepared for those feelings and you will be ready to go up on stage and win. Now, if you want to go out in the world and you want to make a difference, if you want to crush that pitch, or you just want more standing ovations, then use these 3 tips. Number 1, the 24-hour rule. Make sure you're prepared 24 hours before you need to give that next speech. Number 2, the video rule. Take the video, review the video, make those micro adjustments. And number 3, practice your presentation before you need to give it. Because let me tell you, there is nothing more anxiety-inducing than being underprepared. And there is nothing more empowering knowing that without a shadow of a doubt, this will be the best presentation that you have ever given. Thanks so much for tuning in to episode 5 of I Will Teach You to Speak. I am Jonathan Andrews, and I'm looking forward for you to subscribe, come back next week where we cover how professional speakers prepare for their presentations and what I'm starting to do to make sure that I can get to that level. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Thanks so much.